Good morning. It's Friday, August 9th. And as usual, in my search to find something to talk about, I hope to find something that will be very interesting to those of you that take the time to listen to my rants. So what I found today, extremely difficult to accept, but it's a fact of life. There are two astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, who are veteran astronauts, and they piloted the first crewed test flight of Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. And they have been trapped in space for more than 60 days. That is 7 weeks longer than was initially expected, because their return flight has several issues which are plaguing the Starliner, and NASA is now making clear that the astronauts may not come home on the spacecraft at all. Boeing's rival under NASA's Commercial Crew Program may be asked to bring Williams and Wilmore home instead. The move could potentially extend the stay on the International Space Station by another 6 months, pushing their return into 2025. That's what the agency officials have said in a news conference on Wednesday. Now, I recognize the fact that we don't have spacecraft ready to shoot off into space constantly. But two veteran astronauts trapped in space for what is more than 60 days now. And they may have to wait another 6 or 7 months before they can get home. It's a tragedy of sorts. I am amazed that there's enough supplies on that base station to keep them alive. We must have been very, very fortunate to have thought that far in the future that we have left supplies at the space station that could support two gentlemen for almost a year. It's incredible. That portion of the mission is incredible. But we ought to have been able to rescue these people before this, in my mind. So I think that what the U.S. has to do is entirely revamp the companies that are investing in space travel and make sure that they can bring their victims home. I call these people victims because they have been out there already 7 weeks longer with no end in sight. And it's a shame. These people are putting their life at risk to go out there and explore outer space. And quite honestly, I don't know what that really does for the rest of the population of the world. I think if you go into space and you find out things, it's important to know. But as an idiot, a space idiot, I don't know what's good or bad out there. I don't know what we're getting back in return for the risking of these lives. Except it's a wonderful thing to say we have the technology to go 250,000 miles from Earth and see what's going on. But I haven't seen anything major in many years that this has improved the lives of the people on Earth. So SpaceX, which is Boeing's rival under the NASA Commercial Crew Program, may actually be tapped to bring Williams and Wilmore home instead of waiting for SpaceX, for waiting for Boeing to get their act together. You would think in a situation like this that they would have equipment ready to rescue these people who are risking their lives for I don't know what. The comments from the NASA leaders indicate a stunning change of tone for the space agency. Until now, officials have repeatedly indicated that Williams and Wilmore will likely return home on the Starliner. And a backup scenario involving CrewDragon was mentioned as a mere possibility during Wednesday's update. However, the SpaceX vehicle is rapidly becoming and when I'm thinking about this, crazy things come into my mind. Being trapped in space, what happens when their food supply disappears? Do they have enough food in space for another 6 months? What happens when you need to shit or piss? Do they have enough toilet paper if you're stuck in space for an inordinate amount of time? How much shit can they store on a spacecraft? What about clean clothing? Do they wash their clothing? What about that? Do they have enough storage space for all of these things that can go wrong? So while I'm sitting here and worrying about the toilet issues and the feeding issues and all of those things associated with these two gentlemen who are trapped in space, NASA is trying to figure out what's wrong with the spaceship in the first place and how much danger it might pose to using the Starliner to go back and get these people home. Neither Boeing nor SpaceX officials are willing to talk about any of these things. Is the Starliner really safe for the astronauts' return? Nobody's prepared to say yes to that question. And then, of course, NASA is trying to make a deal with the other space companies to see if they can help and get these guys home. But it's a slow process because nobody wants to screw it up. So I wonder who and why and what about our space program. Is it really worth risking people's lives to go out into space? Probably is, but we have to do a better job. There's not many countries that have gone into space. There's about a half a dozen that have done the trip. So this is not driving an automobile or anything. This is getting a vehicle that can go back and forth in safety, land, load up, all of those things. Not an easy task, as we are proving to the world. So I'll leave you with that. Two men trapped in space, and we can't come up with a quick solution. Have a great day. Bye.